Good evening. Welcome back to Nick Can't Game, or Can He? With another episode of the Pro Wrestling Sim game I'm running. Reviving WCW and running it, trying to bring it up in size and quality to where it's a viable contender for the number one spot in the as a wrestling company. I hope you enjoy these videos. If you do, you can see in the left corner of your screen the like, subscribe, and notification notice. Hit those bells here on YouTube and you'll be notified every time a new gaming video comes out on this channel. I probably shouldn't be doing anything remotely as intensive as gaming at this time of night, but I've got too much energy to go to sleep, so what the heck. Yeah, let's begin our game. And as you can see here, we are currently at the point where it's time for another episode of WCW Monday Nitro. You can see here that I've already booked out the full show because it does take a long time to do this, especially if you want to be as particular as I try to be. But we are fully booked out with plenty of angle segments and matches. And let's hit the start show and get going. Okay, yes, we're ready to begin the show. Our opening video packages, the show intro, gets us a 95% rating. Popularity increases across the board for everyone involved. Star power and gimmicks added to the story beats, so that's good. Second segment, the general manager for the WCW shows up at the show and is shown arriving at the arena. We get an 84% pop out of that. Next, our new stable, women's stable. 4 women arrive at the arena together. That's the leader of the stable, Eva Marie, Alex Windsor, Leah Vandale, and Maki Ito. The gimmicks and star power work well and give us an 80% rating for this segment. They come down to the ring and start a promo. They're, putting the rest of the women's division on notice that they're here to take over, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop them. And that gets a 74% rating. Now we move on to our first match, which is a semi-final in the TV title tournament. And this is a match between 2 stablemates, Cain Velasquez and Calvin Tankman, who are part of the heel stable known as the Dead Man's Hand. Their leader is sitting at ringside for the match, watching to see how well his men do. They're riding a wave of momentum. The agent did a good job in putting the match story together. They have good chemistry as opponents. It helps the match quality. Cain is the winner. He gets a 0.2 increase in popularity. He really looked like a threat in the match. And they helped him gain that popularity. Calvin because of losing the match, loses a little bit of popularity. The match quality was 1.5 stars with a 63% crowd rating for a 60% overall final score. After the match, they shake hands. You know, they're working together. They're stablemates. Only one of them can move on in the tournament, though. And they show each other respect as stablemates. And then their leader, Bully Ray, comes into the ring. They cut a promo. They're going to be starting a feud with the other stable, the face stable known as Top Flight. And this promo gets an 81% approval rating. Next we have one of our main eventers, Joe Hendry, showing up to the arena. He's shown walking into the back of the stadium. And the announcing team can't help but wonder, is Brock there watching? And that segment gets a 94% approval rating. Next we have a women's match. Leah Vandal, part of the heel stable we were talking about earlier, going up against another wrestler known as Haley J. Leah is getting a good reaction, riding away from momentum. The agent put together a good match. Haley's selling skill raised the match quality. She put in a huge effort. The crowd enjoyed the special entrance, and the agent did a good job of putting things together. As the winner, Leah gained in popularity, and as the loser, Haley slightly lost a little bit of popularity. The crowd had a 67% reaction. The match quality was low, though, and the final score was a 59%. Next up, we have a match between Mercedes Moné and Santana Garrett. They had a boost to performances because of their gimmicks. The agent really helped the performance. The crowd enjoyed special entrance. Mercedes, as the winner, gained in popularity by 0.4 and really came across as a big threat. Santana, as the loser of the match, slightly lost some popularity. Mercedes won with her submission hold, the bank statement. After the match, she refused to let go of the hold and really wanted to make a statement about, just what kind of threat she is to the women's division. And eventually some of the staff in the back of the arena came out to pull them apart, and Santana had to get some medical attention. The overall score for the segment was a 74%. And then we move on to our next match, which is a fatal four-way match, trying to drum up contenders for the U.S. title. We had Yuki Ueno, Paul Walter Hauser, Patrick Clark, and James Storm. Boost to the performances because of the gimmicks. Patrick put in a lot of effort. The agent did a lot of work putting the story together. Nobody gained in popularity. Two people slightly lost popularity. It was a 1.5 star match. Paul Walter Hauser wins the match. 54% overall rating. And in the back, after she was pulled off of Santana, Mercedes grabs the microphone and cuts a promo on her rival that she's been having a feud with the last few weeks, Mandy Sachs. And the Edge seemed to improve the crowd reaction, but a small few were offended by what was said. Mercedes' gimmick worked well. Star power really helped. And it was a 91% final score for the segment. Next we have a tag team match. Maven Huffman and Simon Miller versus Dirty Dango and Eddie Edwards. Star power added to the match. Riding away from momentum. Boost to the match because of the gimmicks. Selling skill add quality. Simon and Maven put in a huge effort. Eddie is good at tag team situations. The crowd enjoys the special entrances. And the agent did a good job putting the match together. Maven had a really big increase in his popularity, a 0.6. Simon had a 0.3 increase. Simon got the pinfall and looked really good in the match. It helped his popularity. The losers lost a bit of popularity, and unfortunately, Maven got a bit of an injury. We're going to have to see what kind of injury that was and how long it's going to last once we finish the show. 2-star match quality, 58% crowd reaction for an overall score of 58%. Next is another tag team, the new legacy of Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Ted DiBiase Jr. Versus the TNA tag team of Jason Hotch and John Schuyler. They're both New Legacy is really good in tag team situations, and the agenting really helped their performances. The crowd didn't care for the match though. They were very vocal about it. Ted got the pinfall. Nobody really gained in popularity, and the losers slightly lost some. 1.5-star match quality, only a 30% crowd rating, 40% final score. Next we have a backstage interview, Bret Hart interviewing Joe Hendry about his rivalry with Brock Lesnar. This gets a 90% rating. Joe and Bret both get popularity boost. Brock, who turned heel last week, slightly loses a bit of popularity. In the next segment, Ronda makes her way out to the ring. And once she gets there, she cuts a promo on the people who have been attacking her over the last couple weeks. Basically saying, here I am. You want to fight, a real fight, one-on-one. No gang up the Timps. I'm right here. You can find me anytime. She's not a hard woman to find, and she's ready for a fight. After that, we go to commercial, and we get an advertisement for the latest t-shirt releases for Eva, Maven, and Simon, and they each gain 0.2 popularity across the board, 84% for the advertising. Next, Ronda in a bit of a squash match absolutely pummels her opponent, Lady Maravilla. Ronda, as someone coming from MMA, had a boost her performance because of her gimmick, riding away from momentum. Both wrestlers put in a huge effort. The crowd enjoyed Ronda's entrances, and the agent did a good job putting the story together. And throughout the match, Ronda really came across as a badass, and it boosted her popularity. Um, Next, we have the first cruiserweight title defense for Malachi Black facing off against Tom Lawler. Um, by aiming to steal the show, the workers really upped their game in ring. Malachi's selling ability raised the match quality, and his explosive style impressed the crowd. He successfully retained his title and got a really nice boost to his popularity of 0.5. Tom, as the loser, um, only lost 0.2 popularity. And working with Malachi really helped him learn a bit. Match quality was a 3-star. Crowd was only into it 63%. Total final score of 65%. Next, we have a video recap of the feud between Bad Bunny and Jake Paul. They will be having the first match in their feud on next week's Monday Nitro. And the video really sold the feud, got a 92% approval rating. Next, we had U.S. champion Konosuke Takeshita to come out and cut an interview on the three main promo on the three main contenders for his title, who are Alex Kane, EC3, and Bishop Dyer. His star power added to the story, and apparently he's very good looking, and his good looks also added to the story. We get a final score on this segment of 93%. Next, we have a tag team match. The Iconics versus CJ Perry and Macy Estrella. Boosted performance because of their gimmicks. They're really good in tag team situations because they've been tag teaming for a while. The agent team really helped the performances of their opponents. He did a lot of the work in putting the match story together. Obviously, the Iconics have incredible chemistry as a tag team and help the quality. Slight increase for Cassie's popularity. The losers of the match slightly dip in popularity. 1.5-star match quality. 66% crowd rating. 62% overall. Next we have another match in the rise of Alex Kane, who's aiming to get a title shot at Konosuke's U.S. title coming up soon. The crowd did not care for the match at all. The two wrestlers have very bad chemistry as opponents. Their timing was all over the place, so they're not going to be facing each other again anytime soon. Alex got the win. It was a dud, only a 0.5 star. The crowd really wasn't into it. 37% overall rating. Afterwards, he cuts a promo, letting everybody know he's coming for that title. Then we go to commercial, and we get an advertisement for the latest set of trading cards for Konosuke, Matt Riddle, Nick Nemeth, Patrick Clark, and Yuki Ueno. And everybody gains in popularity from this advertisement. That's an 89% rating. And when we come back from the commercial, we get to our main event. Joe Hendry versus Miro. Joe is riding away from momentum. The crowd enjoys a special entrance. Miro's style impressed the crowd. The agent did a lot of good work putting the match together. Joe looked really good, and Miro's popularity slightly dipped. We had a 2-star match quality and a 70% overall rating. And we end the show. We see here we had an overall show score of 65%. I'm not sure how to get this up, but our angles are hot, but the matches don't seem to be working with the crowds. I'm not sure how to fix that. We gained 0.5 popularity across the world, so that at least is good. And we hit the end show button. Yes. Okay. And okay, let's see what is in our mail. We sold 7554 tickets. We gained a total of $316,000 in ticket sales. That comes after the gate share clause, $61,000 to our people who appeared on the show. We had 1.85 million viewers, $295,000 in income. Let's see. Maven has come down with an injury and will have to miss some time. Let's see what his injury was. Maven. Neck injury, he's out until September. Ooh, that's not good. Okay. So, yeah, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay. We'll have to start hyping him up when he's ready to come back. He's going to be out a couple months with a neck injury, sorry. Let's see. Our feuds are decent. Most of them are in the 80s. Okay. Alex's storyline about rising to the top is at a 91% heat. And yeah, we need to get a bit more going with our other feuds. And I'll pause the video while we move ahead to the next day. Or no. Let's okay. Let's see what our mail is here. Alright, we managed to steal someone from AEW. One of their first big women's wrestlers. One of their first big stars. Britt Baker has accepted our contract offer. We're paying her $15,000 a month, $500 per appearance, unlimited appearances, and we're paying her travel expenses. We will finalize the contract, and we've got a new wrestler on our team. And let's see, is there anybody else that we might want to make an offer to? Check the news. Contract offers. Contract renewal offers. No, it doesn't look like there's anybody that we want to pick up. Okay, so we go ahead and we move to the next day, which is our next television program, WCW Thunder. All right, and who is this? Who is Aja Pereira? Why are they making a contract renewal for her? Oh, she's one of the referees. Okay. I have got more than enough referees for my matches. I don't need to hire out a new referee. Okay. And from here, I will pause while I book out Thunder for the week. And we're back. Thursday Night Thunder has been fully booked out. We've got, it seems to be a angle heavy show with what I hope will be a few good matches. And the conclusion of the television title tournament. And Rebecca Knox defending her women's title in the main event. And let's get started with the show. Alright, our show introduction. We hype up several of the people who are going to be at the show, and even some people who aren't. 88% final score for that. Okay. Then our authority figure, the GM of the shows up at the arena, and that's Bill Goldberg. And next we go to the Iconics cutting a promo on the tag team champions, the Beautiful Disasters. And they are looking to get a rematch for the Women's World Tag Team Championship. The final rating on that is a 90%. And we go on to our first match, which is Bishop Dyer versus Mustafa Ali. The agenting helped the performance. Mustafa put in a good effort. 1.5 star match. 59% crowd reaction. 58% overall final score. Next we go on to Ace Austin versus Cedric Alexander. Both of them put in a big effort. Cedric had a boost to his performance because of his gimmick. The agent did a good work in putting the match story together. Ace picks up the victory, 2.5 star match. Crowd wasn't really into it, 50%, for an overall score of 55%. Next we have Alex Kane continuing his rise up the ranks, having a few words to say in a promo calling out the United States champion, Konosuke Takeshita. And the final score on that is a 61%. And then we go to commercial. An advertisement airs for the latest action figure releases. Where there are action figures for Ash by Elegance, B. Priestley, Bret Hart, Donovan Dijak, and Daria, and everybody's popularity goes up. And we get an 82% rating out of this segment. Next, Real One is being interviewed by Nicky Garcia about his ongoing feud with Raj Desi. In the middle of the interview, Raj attacks him, and they end up in a pull-apart brawl. Things are getting nasty, and Bill makes a match for this coming Raw on Monday between Raj and Real One to see if that can settle the feud. And that gets us to a 74% overall score for the segment. Next up, we have a women's tag team match. Haley J and Mia Momono versus Tessa Blanchard and Saray. We have a 3.5-star quality match. Performance boosted by gimmicks and by people who are riding away from momentum. The crowd enjoyed the special entrances. It looks like Haley took the pin and she slightly lost some popularity. Neither Mio nor Tessa really gained any popularity, but Saray did. Tessa was injured at the end of the match. The agent did help the match come together. It was again a 3.5-star match. 74% crowd reaction and a final score of 73%. Next we go backstage where Nikki is interviewing Isla Dawn, and Isla is basically saying, she wants a title match, she wants the Women's World Championship. There are more than a few women after the Women's World Championship, and she's one of them. And she wants a match. And Rebecca shows up, and they get into a war of words. And final overall score is 76%. And the match does in fact get made, and it's going to be our main event. Next up is the finals of the TV title tournament. Mystico versus Cain Velasquez, with Cain's stablemates, Calvin Tankman and Bully Ray at ringside. The workers went into this with the intention of stealing the show, and it looks like they did. They had a 2.5-star match, 73% crowd reaction, 70% final score. Mystico is our inaugural WCW World Television Champion. Cain was riding away from momentum, so he got a pretty decent reaction. As the winner, Mystico gained popularity. As the loser, Cain slightly lost some popularity. And we go on to the next match. Women's single match, Daria Berenato versus Saraya. And they have good chemistry as opponents. It helped the match quality. The crowd was really into the match. Daria picks up the win and gains a bit of popularity. Saraya, as the loser, slightly drops in popularity, but they do work well as opponents. And 87% crowd reaction. Only half a star match quality, which is strange considering the crowd reaction. for a final score of 72%. Next we have AJ, one of our announcers, talking up the upcoming match between Isla and Becky. 69% overall rating for the segment. And then our next to last match of the night is Nick Nemeth versus Matt Riddle. The crowd enjoyed the special entrances for both of them. The agent helped out. They have really good chemistry as opponents. It helped the match quality. Nick Nemeth wins and gains a little popularity, while Matt slightly loses popularity as the loser of the match. Final overall score of 75%, crowd reaction of 82%, 2.5 star match. Now we go on to the main event for the Women's Championship. Based from what happened here previously in the show, it is Becky versus Isla, and they upped the game in the match. Star power add to the match. Crowd enjoyed the special entrances, and Rebecca successfully retained her title. 95% crowd reaction, only 1.5 star match. Disappointing in the match rating, but it did get an overall score of 80%. And that is Thunder for this week. We had a show rating, one of our highest show ratings yet in this series, of 76%. And we are still gaining in popularity throughout the world. And with that, we close out the show. And we check our mail. We sold, that's the most tickets we've sold yet. 8,402 tickets sold. $352,000 in sales. That comes after our gate share clause. We had 1.86 million viewers on Amazon Prime for $293,000 in income. We see that Tessa was injured. Let's take a look at what it says medical here. Back injury, out for about 6 weeks. Well, closer to 7. She will be back at the end of June. Okay. And let's see how the storylines went. So the new storyline for the Women's World title is starting up. The angle between Raj and Desi isn't doing that well as far as the heat. We'll close that out on Monday, on the Monday Nitro episode. Tag feud is okay. Could stand to heat up. And everything else is going well. And with that, we'll exit the game and call it a night. And I thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate your presence. I love you all. I'm very grateful for you being in my life. Take my love with you everywhere you go. I'll see you again very soon. And remember to always be good to each other. It's the highest calling in all the world. Show each other kindness, compassion, mercy, and love. And I'll see you again very soon.